Hello again and welcome to Black Bear Atheist. Today we're continuing the series of Frank trying to prove that morality is objective. So far he has failed. This is part 2 and I hope you enjoy.
Here are the objections you're going to get. And these objections are either confusions, intellectual confusions, or they're outright denials of the will. Okay? The first three are confusion.
Well, that's an easy way to just dismiss people. People actually listen to this guy and what he has to say. And he's basically just dismissing every single argument that makes sense. And saying it's plainly confusion or simply denial.
And then we'll talk about denials. The first objection you'll get is cultures have different values, therefore there is no real, absolute, objective moral value. It's subjective. One culture has X, another culture has Y. There you go, proves it. We'll talk about that.
I say that's a good point.
Secondly, values have changed. We used to burn witches, for example. We used to have slaves. Now we don't do that anymore, so values have changed.
I say that's another good point.
We got to deal with that. Then there's the objection that values conflict. You know, it's the old life raft dilemma. You're on a life raft that's fit for 4 and you have 5 on. If you don't throw somebody off, then everyone's going to die. So what do? They conflict. Or the Nazis come to your door and you're hiding Jews. Are you supposed to tell the truth to the Nazi, or are you trying to save the life? Aren't you supposed to tell the truth? Yeah. Are you supposed to protect life? Yeah. What do?
Frank is so fucking weird. I hope he's actually going to talk about the thing he listed and not just list them. You only need the second objection to show morality is subjective. Morality changes and that shows it's not objective, but subjective to society.
See, it can't be absolute. They're relative. So you got to deal with that. Then finally, we disagree on values. And this is more an issue of denial than it is confusion. We'll talk about that when we get there. Let's go to point 1. Cultures have different values. This is a cow. Everyone can see that? Now, in India, cows are sacred. Where do we get sacred cow from? I assume it's from India. Is that where we get that from? I guess. And they're so sacred to the point that some people starve to death while cows are all around them. Now, obviously here, we have no trouble.
I just noticed something. I just noticed the Christmas light. People are attending this during Christmas. That is crazy.
Taking Bossy into the slaughterhouse and having a good steak. So our values, they seem to value cows more than people. What's going on? Right? That's a cow. This is grandma. Now, in India, they don't believe in slaughtering grandma, and neither do we, right? But why in India won't they slaughter a cow? You know why? Because they think grandma might be in the cow. They believe in reincarnation. See? And they think that some of the souls of their departed loved ones may be in the cow. Now notice, this is not a difference of values. This is actually a difference in understanding. You have an absolute value versus a relative understanding. The value is the same. You're supposed to respect elders and your ancestors.
Not if they're dicks and a bunch of idiots.
We agree with that, and so do the folks in India. What we have a different understanding in, or understanding of, is where is my ancestor? Where is grandma? If we thought grandma was in the cow, we wouldn't take her to the slaughterhouse, would we? The value is the same. Respect your ancestors. Respect life. What differs is the factual understanding regarding whether or not grandma's in the cow.
What I see going on here is that Christians justify taking lives of animals to consume with the Bible, while some group in India don't do this. They believe all lives are sacred. This is based on the teachings of Hinduism. I might become a vegan in the future. Who knows? I don't know.
In India, they don't believe it's right to eat grandma, and neither do we, right? It's not right to eat grandma, okay? So the same value exists. It's just the difference in our understanding of where grandma is. Now, perhaps that's an oversimplification, but you get the idea, okay? Also, sometimes there's a difference between what and how. What do I mean by that? A kiss of greeting is considered polite in some cultures, but in
What the fuck is that? Why is it a frog? What? Frank is so fucking weird.
other cultures, it would repel you. Now, notice that the value to express respect through a greeting is absolute. Doesn't matter.
No, that is not absolute at all. Also, none of this is about moral questions. How to greet people is a cultural difference and not a moral issue. Whether to greet someone is also not a moral issue. It's a personal choice.
No matter what culture you're in, when you see somebody, you're supposed to greet them. But the difference is in how you express that. What should be done, the greeting is the same, but how it should be done is different. Sometimes it's a hug, sometimes it's a handshake, sometimes it's a kiss. Whatever it is, it's different. They say that Eskimo wives actually express love to their husbands sometimes by chewing his boots before he leaves the igloo. Why? Because you need to warm up those frozen boots. Now, that's an expression of love, but it's in a different culture. If you come downstairs one night, man, and you see your wife chewing your shoes or your boots, you wouldn't think that was an expression of love now, would you? No, but it might be in a different culture. The expression.
Yeah, this is why I don't believe anything that comes out of this man's mouth. So I try to find out if there's any truth to what he just said, and there is none. Obviously, you can tell the absurd story is just not true. You could tell without even doing any research. But I did, just to make sure. I thought it was talking about penguins for a second because he said an igloo. But it was talking about humans, a native tribe that lives in Alaska or Canada. This man is a fucking dirtbag. It will scoop this low to just admit, and something that will dehumanize people in his video. Come on, Frank. This is a new low. I point out in my last video too how much it was okay with this man saying the entire continent of Africa is one culture and women run around naked. Like, really, Frank? This is what we're doing now?
Or the value, love, is the same, but how it's expressed is different. The second, that values have changed. We used to burn witches, and we used to have slaves, but we don't anymore, so values have changed. How do we deal with that? Well, first of all, let's point out that this is another indication or another instance of the absolute value versus the relative understanding. Why were witches burned? And by the way, how many witches were burned, as far as we know, in Salem, Massachusetts, way back when? Anyone know? How many? They hanged them, burned them. How many were killed? Anyone know? Anyone have any idea?
It doesn't fucking matter. The point is that people were hanged and we don't do that anymore. That is immoral. It's immoral to hang people because they don't believe in the shit you believe, or they have a different sky daddy or mommy.
5 and 10. As far as we know, I think there were 18. 18 or 19. Now, you would think.
Yeah, no, I don't even need to search it up to know those numbers are most likely wrong. I'll still search it up though to make sure. Be right back. Guys, he's right. About 20 people were hanged, not even burned, in Salem witch trial in Massachusetts in the 17th century. I thought he was talking about everywhere. I apologize there. But that's not the point though. When we add up one killed in America and Europe, the number is way over 18. Which is what matters here, which is what people are actually talking about. We're not just going to take one point at a time and ignore the others, which is are burnt and hanged. Sometimes just hanged, but we don't do that anymore. Even if the number is just one, Frank, it still proves that morality changes, which shows that morality is subjective.
I think that from the very popularity of the issue, I mean, everyone seems to know this, that there would be thousands.
I actually did not know of the Salem witch trial. I just searched it up.
Thousands of these people. Now, I'm not saying that 18 or 19 isn't significant, but it's 18 or 19 people.
That is what you're implying, Frank. That is what you're implying by bringing up the number and saying, it wasn't actually that much people killed. It was just 18 people.
Okay. But why were witches burned or hung or killed? Why? Why were they killed? Thought they were evil. The reason they were killed is witch hunters used to believe witches murdered people with their curses. They used to think that witches were murderers, that they could curse people and kill them. We know that that's not the case now. In fact, the moral value of murder did not change. People's understanding of whether witches are murderers changed. Did you like those little guys flying back and forth? I think they'll come out again if we wait.
No, Frank, our morality and thinking changes. Just accusing someone with no evidence is enough to get them killed. The fear that religion put in people, which is why during the Black Death, there were rumors, there were lies spread around about Jews killing children or harming people. We know this to not be true, but then they thought it was true and many Jews were persecuted. They were banned from many places years later in Europe. These people did not murder them, but they are seen different. They're seen as murderers because they're different. The point here is that even if we know someone is a witch today and we caught them, we will not kill them for it. This shows our morality as a society has changed. Also, the idea that Christians don't believe today that witches are evil is not true. I just did a video on Daily Dose of Bullshit, and it basically implies at the end of the video that when he went to Africa, the entire continent, that's where he went. When he went to Africa, the native doctor that put a bead on this child, the bead was evil. It was demonic.
I gotta back it up. Here we go. Watch.
Just twisting my tongue.
Yeah, there they go. That guy's trying to catch the witch. Right? What changed? What changed was our factual understanding of whether or not witches were murderers. If they were murderers, maybe they should have died. But if they're not, of course not, we ought not kill them. Now we say, no, witches don't murder people, so let's not kill them. What's the same? The value's the same. Life. Life is sacred. What changed is our factual understanding of whether or not a witch was a murderer.
Frank, that was not why they were killed. They were killed because of the fear in the community, which was a result of religion. Guess which religion? Your religion. Oh, an hurricane happened, it must be because of them witches. Oh, my prayer for a new wagon was not answered. It must be because of the witches. Christian told them witches are bad, thus witches are bad. If you have not noticed yet, Christians always find something to blame. That is what you get in a religion that is so fucked up. A morality changes a society, and that is why morality is subjective. You failed to prove something, Frank. That's it for today. Click that like button and subscribe. Have a good day.